you know?
What do you think it comes from? Like, if you had to guess, where do you think the Bible comes from? Like, it was an oral tradition for who knows how many years before they ever wrote it down.
Yeah.
What do you think these stories come from?
Well, I believe that people come across in different points of time, and I think they are given messages that need to be delivered. And I'm not in any way trying to parallel me to anyone in any of these books by any means, but I do think that throughout history, like even beyond from what's been written in this Bible, there's been important people that came along and said important, or maybe not even important people. Sometimes it's the lowly of the low that come along and just say things that need to be said. And if I could, to me, it's like there's no question that this is an intelligent planet we live on, in an intelligent solar system. Everything is just much more immense than any human on Earth would admit. Like even people in science, so much of science is based on theory. Like it's this very elegantly written way of thinking, but it ultimately, if you take it down to its like on a granular, I do think that, and maybe it's, I've been waiting for my time to bring up the aliens because but anyway, but in all seriousness, it's like for me, I believe that.
Well, let me.
If you read through it, it's so much of it is so timeless, and so much of it, if you read about the rich and the poor and the wicked and the way, just the inherent human behavior that existed at the time when these books were written back then, it's so parallel to what goes on today. Like to the point that you wouldn't, if you just read it out of context and didn't know it was scripture, a lot of it sounds like something somebody wrote 2 hours ago and posted on a vlog or whatever. It's like it's. To me, there is no other book like it.
Have you paid any attention to Graham Hancock and Randall Carlson and their theories about the restarting of humanity?
Mm-mm.
It's a really fascinating field of inquiry and discussion because it's now starting over time to be backed up by more science. Because there was always this curiosity, like when did the human race first invent civilization? And the current theory is that it was about 6,000 years ago. It's Mesopotamia, it's Sumer, and these areas, which is where we found the first written language, like first mathematics, cuneiform language. But what they believe is that's a restarting of civilization, and that very likely civilization existed at a very, very high level, somewhere around 11,800 years ago. And that what caused the end of the Ice Age also caused just a mass destruction all throughout the universe, or all throughout the Earth, rather, of particles from space slamming into the Earth. That the Earth goes through these comet storms periodically, and it happens, I think it's every June and every November. And when they go through these clouds of comets, occasionally we get hit by big ones. And there's a lot of evidence for this. And what they believe is that when you're looking at like the ancient Egyptian structures, when you're looking at some structures in Turkey and other parts of the Middle East, you're looking at things that are older than 12,000 years old.
Yeah, well, and I agree with that. I think that it's obvious that technology existed that we don't know anything about today.
Just the construction of the pyramids alone leaned you to that. Like somehow or another, they were able to do that. And they were able to do that with immense sophistication and insane capabilities. The ability to move stone from hundreds of miles that weighs tons. Yeah. Massive stones cut perfectly, stacked on top of each other, 2,300,000 of them that are perfectly due north, south, east, and west.
Yeah, that's the craziest thing is that they could understand that at that scale. Like
the technology was almost we don't understand what they were doing. It's alien, and not alien like human being, not like non-human beings. I think there were human beings that made it, but I think to us, they went in a direction with their technology that's very different than we did. We went in this weird direction of internal combustion engines and silicon chips and all these different things. I think it's very likely that they had comparable, if not better, technology, but it moved in a completely different direction, whether it was using sound or vibration or some other completely undiscovered technology that we have yet to invent that was wiped out when civilization was knocked into barbarism. And I think that's one of the reasons why you go back in early history, people were so fucking savage, because I think that the people that survived that 11,800 years ago event, I think whatever was left was like fucking Walking Dead. And I think people lived a horrible life for a long time. And I think it was thousands of years of this until we emerged from that and finally started reinventing agriculture and cities and all these different things again. So I think the 6,000 year ago mark, I think if I had to guess, I would imagine that is the first example of a rebuild of civilization that took thousands of years to emerge from horrific slaughter.
It wouldn't surprise me if all that doesn't happen again. Like
it could easily happen again if we get hit
That
again.
was one of the initial things that really intrigued me reading in, I think it's it talks about it in Ecclesiastes, but that everything that's happened under the sun has already happened before and will happen again, that generations that are yet to come will be forgotten about those that come after them. Like it's, I think just in the same way that we have a summer and a fall and a winter and a spring, it's like I think human society, just because of our human nature and like our pursuit for whatever it is that we want to, like we just love to create and develop, and like so we shoot all the way up to the top, and then some tragedy comes along, whether it's self-inflicted or from comets or whatever, and then there we go right back down to the bottom. We start over again. And like there is a lot of weird things, like they've discovered a lot in South America recently because of new technology, like the civilizations that existed down there that we had no idea about. Like
Graham Hancock's talked
who knows
about that too. It's
who
called
knows
LIDAR.
what's went on even just on this ground in years past that we'll never know about.
Hey, woman, since your man ain't got no heart, why don't you go to our apartment tonight and I'll show you a real man?
There you go.
What? Fuck you.